Before the MCU turned superhero movies into an assembly line product churned out of Marvel and Disney Studios factories, and before every single origin story followed the same template, and before every single villain had the same motivation and looked exactly the same, Hollywood actually used to make superhero movies that were bold, weird, and genuinely different. They looked like nothing else, felt like nothing else, and that made them unique until Hollywood forgot about them. But don't you worry, because today I have 10 weird, awesome, and fun superhero movies Hollywood would rather you forget. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. All right, so before we get into the list, I just want to say that these are not movies that are meant to laugh at. No, not all of these movies are the height of cinema. They absolutely are not. But are they fun? Yes. Are they different? Yes. Were they made with a voice and a real creative perspective and not just churned out by committee? Absolutely yes. And some of them, honestly, are better than half the superhero movies that MCU is churning out, especially in the last 7 or 8 years. So let's start here with one that I absolutely loved in 1990 when it came out. That is Dick Tracy. Now, this one is just visually stunning, and it was a whole lot of fun when it came out. It's one that I would love to see on 4K because it is like a comic book come to life, and it will leap off the screen at you the same way it did in 1990, and that is worth the price of admission alone. You got Warren Beatty, who directed the film himself as the comic strip detective, and you got Madonna as Breathless Mahoney. You got Al Pacino as Big Boy Caprice in here, and a production design that was deliberately artificial. It wanted to look like a comic book, and it committed to that completely in every single frame of the movie. The color palette was restricted to primary colors only, the colors that were available to the Chester Gold comic strips. So primary colors, nothing in between. Every set, every costume, every location built around that one visual rule that they had to adhere to. And as a filmmaker, that is kind of just total commitment that you have to respect one way or the other. A single aesthetic vision. And that's extraordinary. And that's something that never happens anymore. Most directors wouldn't have that discipline. Most cinematographers would say, no way, we're not doing that. But Beatty had it. He controlled it. And it came out exactly like the comic strip. Al Pacino was, oh man, he was the bad guy in here. And he was loving it. He had an unhinged performance in this. You could tell he was just going for it in every possible way. He received an Academy Award nomination for this performance. A lot of people forget that. An Oscar nomination for a comic book movie in 1990. Dick Tracy actually made $162 million worldwide in 1990. That's a lot. Won 3 Academy Awards. That's a lot. And now is discussed primarily as a just like curiosity, because Warren Beatty holds this thing hostage. He won't let anything be done with it. And it's like it's from a bygone era and just dusted over and forgotten, but it absolutely shouldn't be. Dick Tracy kicks us off at number 10. And then staying in 1990, same year, completely different energy right here for Darkman. So this is a Sam Raimi movie because he couldn't get the rights to Batman, so he wanted to do something. He couldn't get the rights to the Shadow at the time, so he invented his own superhero from scratch and made one of the most genuinely strange and genuinely great superhero films that you're ever going to see. Darkman is played by Liam Neeson because Liam Neeson has been in everything since the dawn of time. He has been in every movie, I'm convinced of it. And he is a scientist who is horribly disfigured by crime lords, and then he has to rebuild himself as a vigilante using a synthetic skin that deteriorates in the sunlight. But here's what gets me about this film as a filmmaker. Raimi was operating with a fraction of the budget of most any other superhero production then and definitely now. So he compensated with craft. and with know-how and with creativity. What a concept, right? Something you don't see anymore. You've got all these Dutch angles, which I love. Going back to The Third Man, Orson Welles, I have always just loved using Dutch angles in films. You've got expressionist lighting in this film, just extreme close-ups that give you a whole different comic book like frame visual style. You've got a Danny Elfman score helping this thing along. It pushes the emotion through here to the absolute edge. Liam Neeson is awesome. It feels like a universal monster film crossed with a superhero film. Darkman is an example of what great filmmakers do when they don't have money, they don't have access, they turn limitation into invention. That's what it was with Darkman. It comes in at number 9. All right, so now we head to 1991 for a bit of different energy with The Rocketeer. And this one is a whole different kind of vibe. You got Jennifer Connelly in this movie. You got Timothy Dalton in here as a villain. And it's set in 1938 Los Angeles, which is cool because it's a period piece. So you're going to pull me in right off the bat. And you have a barnstormer pilot who stumbles onto a rocket pack and becomes an accidental hero, basically. The Rocketeer is the purest sort of expression of what a superhero film can be when nobody is trying to just be super clever or pretentious about it. No deconstructing of a hero, no irony, no origin story really that exists to set up 5 different sequels. Just a genuine golden age adventure film with a complete sincerity and complete craft, all about the vibes on it. The production design is awesome in here. Art Deco, which is going to pull me in as well. You've got the Hollywood sign. You've got the Bulldog Cafe. You've got the Spruce Goose, 1930s Los Angeles recreated. Gonna get me every single time. The golden era of Hollywood that always was and never will be, to quote Michael Eisner. That's what you get in this film. And the suit, the Rocketeer helmet, all of that awesome design, superhero cinema history with that. I think it's very cool. We could have had a franchise here. This film made $46 million against a $35 million budget. It was considered a disappointment. It wasn't really pushed out that well. We maybe lost something extraordinary here with subsequent films. Maybe this is one they could go back and bring to us again today if they had the right sensibilities to it. I think it holds up good. It's a fun watch. Classic adventure, The Rocketeer. Now, 1994 asks, do you know? Because The Shadow knows. You've got The Shadow, Alec Baldwin in this playing The Shadow. And this one has a gorgeous production design to it when you're talking about the way this thing looks. The Shadow is based on a 1930s radio drama. So we're going back again. And you've got a vigilante with the ability to cloud men's minds. And he wages war on crime in a beautifully realized Art Deco New York City. So you got the Art Deco of Los Angeles in the 1930s with The Rocketeer. And then here we have it with The Shadow and New York. You're always going to get me with that. Just beautiful visuals and design. You've got a lot of dry wit from this character and a physical presence that is exactly right for the character. And here's what this film understood that almost nothing of this era did. The production design with movies like this is the character, the costumes, the surrounding, the real practical sets, things like that. The Shadow exists in a world that is full of deep shadows, high contrast between dark and light, neon lights, which always get me, fog-drenched streets where evil feels genuine and dangerous. Every visual choice reinforces the atmosphere. Every costume, every set, every lighting decision tells you something about the world that you're in. We call that world building now. The Shadow was dismissed when it was released as a relic. I don't agree. I think it has a lot of visual ambition to it. Is it the greatest film in the world? No, but it is worth just looking at. It's so good. But when it's finished here, I think this is one that you can go back, especially if you get a 4K of this, watch it on an OLED television and really appreciate that art design, the cinematography of this. It's a shame that we don't get more films like this. It is a really interesting film. The Shadow knows. The Shadow comes in at number 7. Now, at number 6 is the one that inspired this list because I just got this 4K from Kino Lorber, a new restoration, and watched it. I'm talking 1996's The Phantom with Billy Zane, purple suit, no mask, a skull ring that leaves an impression on the faces of his enemies, a horse named Hero, a wolf named Devil, another one that is a period piece again, 1930s again. We were mining the 1930s there for a while with these superheroes, and everything about The Phantom is missed by most people. And listen, this is by far not my favorite film on the list. I think maybe it doesn't hold up. I don't like it as much as I used to, but I still respect it. I still am sort of a teenage kid watching this thing. They weren't really trying to make the Phantom cool. You got my friend Christy Swanson is in this movie. She does great. She's kind of a kick-ass character in this. You have to really kind of respect the work that Zane did. He worked out for like a year and a half back before all of the enhancers to get himself in shape for this movie. And he really did. It shows it. But it's not the kind of movie that is going to strike you visually the same as like The Shadow. And it's not the film that's going to get Academy Awards like Dick Tracy. It's a fun, like, relic of sort of the old serials, like an old superhero movie that you would watch. It was considered a box office failure for sure, but I don't care. I think that Billy Zane is fun in this. I think Christy Swanson is genuinely capable as the female lead in a movie like this. Give me this over modern green screen stuff that's just constant green screen CGI all over the place. Billy Zane always wanted a sequel of this. I still think it deserves one. I would like to see what they would do with it. It is an entertaining superhero film. The Phantom comes in at number 6. All right, with number 5, we have a tone shift, an energy shift, an aesthetic shift, all of it with 1995's Tank Girl. And I have the Vinegar Syndrome 4K VSU, so the whole comic book flavor of this thing leaps off the TV at you better than it's ever going to, better than it ever did when it was brand new at the movie theaters. And Tank Girl is set in a post-apocalyptic Australia in 2033. So we've almost caught back up to it, where a corporation controls all the water. And Tank Girl, this foul-mouthed, completely uncontainable person, is the only one willing to fight back. Lori Petty in this role, she takes it on like she's just going to have the best time with it and just rolls through it like a force of nature or something. She commits to the bit of Tank Girl in every single way, and that you have to respect. It's a fearless, crazy-ass performance, and you either going to completely love it or you're going to completely not get it. I honestly, though, I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. This thing has crazy visual segments that go off in a complete different direction. Costumes that look like they were assembled from a war zone and simultaneously a thrift store. I don't know. It's not polished. It's not corporate. And that is my favorite thing about the movie, because we see so much of that today. Tank Girl was dismissed as too weird, too abrasive, too punk rock. Everything that makes it genuine and genuinely different is the exact things that the industry didn't like about it. Now, all these years later, 30 some odd years later, I like the fact that it is sort of an outsider piece of art and it doesn't toe the corporate line of political correctness or anything else. Tank Girl for the win at number 5. All right, and then we have one that's fun for a different reason. It's 1996's Barb Wire with Pamela Anderson. And I know what you're thinking on this, and I want you to hold that thought for about 60 seconds, because here's what Barb Wire actually is underneath the obvious surface of Pamela Anderson's cleavage and everything else. It's a genuinely committed neo-noir science fiction superhero type comic book movie set in a dystopian future in America during a second Civil War. And this is basically the same story as Casablanca. Yes, you heard that right. This is basically Casablanca. That's the actual structural template of this movie. Barb Wire is Casablanca with a female, Rick Blaine, who runs a nightclub in the last free city in the country and gets pulled back into a conflict she walked away from when her past shows up at her door. That's a legitimate premise, written around a legitimate genre framework with a genuine production value and sequences that hold up practically. Lots of good action. Pamela Anderson was completely dismissed by critics and audiences who already decided what the film was before they saw it because of her and how it was marketed. And yes, she shows the skin, whatever she needs to, but that was present there. Is it a perfect film? Absolutely not. Is it genuinely interesting and completely committed to what it is? Absolutely. And that makes it fun. And yes, not hard to look at for a lot of you for a lot of the time. Barbed Wire deserves a better chance. A great 4K here from Turbine. Give it one. It comes in at number 4. All right, now number 3, I'm ready to defend against any and all comers because I genuinely love the movie. It's 1995's Judge Dredd. I am the law. I mean, listen, I know what you're going to say, but I love the movie. I don't care. Sylvester Stallone as Judge Dredd. Yes, he takes off the helmet in this movie. No, Judge Dredd doesn't really do that. Don't care. I do not care. The law enforcement officer, Judge Dredd, who is judge, jury, and executioner in a dystopian mega city. You've got Armand Asante as a crazy ass, wild-eyed villain in here. Rob Schneider is the comic relief. This cast is pretty heavy. You also have Max von Sydow in this film. And in the world of Judge Dredd, which is absolutely extraordinary, it feels like a little bit of Blade Runner mixed with RoboCop and other things, but it feels genuinely lived in, again, with the world building that is completely faithful to the source material as far as that goes. The practical effects, the set construction, all of that, the physical filmmaking, and you've got Stallone playing Judge Dredd exactly as you would expect him when he was sort of at the height of his powers physically and as a star, and the whole self-awareness when he's not really winking at the camera here. He's not apologizing for the helmet. He is Judge Dredd. He's the judge, jury, and executioner of all action films in 1995, and he takes it on just like that. I get it. There's departures from the source material that make a lot of people mad. I don't care. The movie is entertaining and fun, and that is not something that can be said of a lot of superhero movies that come out now. This one had it. I am the law. And I say, watch Judge Dredd. It comes in at number 3. All right, now at number 2, we get serious because if you follow me, you know I love this movie. I love the animated series. I don't care about the early CGI in 1997's Spawn. Spawn is awesome, and I think Michael J. White was awesome as Spawn in this movie. Now, he doesn't have Keith David's voice that you have in the animated series, but man, I absolutely love this. You got really the first black superhero here, even like a year or so before Blade, right? In Marvel, you had Spawn, an amazing 4K here by Arrow Video. Al Simmons is a government assassin who is murdered by his handler. He makes a deal with the devil, Malbolgia, to be sent back to Earth to see his wife one last time. He will literally do anything for Wanda without thinking about it. And he comes back as the Hellspawn, who is warrior bound to lead Hell's armies, except for he ain't really having that. All right. And then he's got this whole war for his soul to retain his humanity, maybe redeem himself and fight against the forces of darkness if he doesn't give in to the hate. There's this great struggle between dark and light, between good and evil, and the better parts of your human nature and the bad parts of your human nature. Yes, the CGI has aged badly. I do not care. The story is there. The presence is there. The meaning is there. I honestly think Michael J. White deserved a bigger career based off this movie. I enjoy him in this. John Leguizamo as the clown in here, Violator. He is awesome. I really enjoy Spawn. The animated series is awesome too. Check it out. But this is an underrated gem. Go buy it. It's a recent release from Arrow. No, they don't give me anything to tell you that. I just love the movie that much. Spawn comes in at number 2. All right, now number 1's going to surprise you a little, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the best movie on this list. I didn't rank them this way. This is just one that's maybe one of the most forgotten about on here. It's 2005's Elektra. Yes, I said that right. This is number 1 because Elektra, I never hear anyone talk about it at all. Jennifer Garner plays Elektra Natchios, an assassin, a warrior, one of Marvel's most complex and sexy characters ever, in a film that was dismissed before people ever sat down because context matters, and people didn't like the 2003 Daredevil film where she starred as Elektra alongside Ben Affleck. Now, I actually don't mind that movie at all. I don't think it's bad at all, but I'll still defend Ben Affleck as Batman. Fight me on it. I think he's good. But it underperformed critically and commercially. And so when Elektra's spinoff was announced and she was going to get her own movie, the tale was already written on this and nobody gave it a chance. But she brought genuine work to this. Back when they actually worked and didn't rely on CGI, she worked out. She learned martial arts. She got into training. She worked on all of those things to bring that character to life. And it was all just dismissed. And people don't even talk about it now. The film also takes like genuine risks. I mean, she is an assassin who is slowly, reluctantly, painfully discovering that she might be capable of something a little bit more. And that arc, that hero's journey from darkness towards something resembling redemption, is handled in a much more genuine and realistic way than anything you get now. Because now it's just about ripping your heroes apart, deconstructing them and showing them that it's basically hopeless because nobody's really that good. This wasn't like that. And Jennifer Garner's performance was completely committed and real and completely undervalued. I think the movie's still fun. It should have had a better chance. Everything about it deserved better. So go back and revisit it. I'm not telling you it's the greatest film because it isn't, but it is better than it is given credit for and certainly better than just being forgotten from now on. So Elektra comes in at number 1. So there you go. 10 films from about 15 years apart, somewhere around 1990 to 2005-ish. And before the formula got put out there, before the shared universe, before all of the planning in phases, every superhero film didn't used to have to fit a template at all. Hollywood made weird-ass superhero movies, and that was fine. They trusted their audiences, they trusted their filmmakers, and then forgot about it. And we need to bring it back. Don't let them forget. Check out these movies. And that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to help support what we're doing here a little bit more, my Patreon link is always in the description. And there you'll get your name in lights, comic book style, on every single video. Behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, special members only videos, physical media reviews, 4K deep dives, days hanging out with me, all kinds of good stuff, and it helps support the channel, and I really do appreciate it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.